So the boys have finished hanging the plaster. So this is the gyprock, and there's a couple of areas it goes right throughout the house, but there's two different ways of doing it. One is directly onto the frames. So we've got a frame wall, divisional walls through here, and you can see where the studs are, where these screws are is where there's a stud that goes through. So you got a stud every 600mm generally, and the boys lay the sheet, put it up there, they've glued the studs, put it on and screw it on. So that's one area there. You'll notice there's a gap between the ceiling and the walls. When they finish, they'll flush the walls and then they'll put cornice on there, which the cornice finishes that off and closes that gap up. So that does that. Then when we come to the walls here, so we're onto the block walls. This is an external wall, and we call this a direct stick. So what they'll do is they'll have cornice cement, a special glue that they mix up, and they'll put dobs on the block wall around, and then they'll direct stick that on. So you've got the odd little screw there just to hold it from dropping down. You can see, may or may not be able to see here, and they'll come out afterwards. But once that cornice cement goes off, there's a little bit of it there, it goes off like a rock, like concrete, and it hangs on. So the only way to pull that plasterboard off is actually it rips the boards off. So it sticks very well. Then also put, when we're doing that too, they then also put direct stick on the window reveals and edges, and you see the plasterboard there. So this is what we call hanging the plaster, and the plaster's now hung. The next trade, or sometimes it can be the same trade as a plaster, will come in and they'll flush it out, and what we call flushes, that's when they make it nice and pretty, get rid of all these lines. The plasterboard's actually grooved at the join, so it allows then for them to flush that join and get a nice smooth finish, and that's how we get a really good finish on our walls, is by doing that. So around the windows, I'll put an external steel angle, and they'll put that on there. It comes off about 1.5 inches around each way. And they'll staple that on in a position. That gives a nice straight edge right around the window that they can then flush that too. So it'll stick out about 1.5 mil, and then they'll use their compounding, plaster compound, and they'll trowel it on to finish it off, and they'll go right around the whole window. So you end up with this really nice, smooth, consistent finish right throughout. We also do the same on openings. So this is back on the frame wall again.